You're listening to The Practice of a Hoodoo Baptist, my personal journey of root work, faith, and ancestral wisdom. This is where I honor the ones that came before me, share what's been passed down, and walk you through my experiences of being unapologetically aligned, covered by spirit, guided by blood. Before patriarchy turned it into something dirty, before religion made it sinful, before capitalism sold us blue liquid on TV. Menstruation was sacred. Menstruation was life. Menstruation was simply just one of the many natural processes of the female body. Our blood was understood to hold power. Power to cleanse, the power to manifest, the power to connect us to earth, okay? And the power to connect us back to spirit. It wasn't taboo, it was truth. And in hoodoo, that truth never left. It just got hidden. And today, we're bringing it back to light. Now, for those of you that may not know, my background in philanthropy is centered on menstrual equity. Menstrual equity is the act of having menstrual education, accessibility to menstrual products, and the language surrounding menstrual care, menstrual health, and also the affordability to be able to afford period products. Specifically, my work within menstrual equity started with distributing period products to folks in need through my organization, Happy Period. Later on, we decided to create an educational program called Flow, in which we centered the youth when it comes to providing the youth with not just with personal care products, period products for free, but also giving them education that they need to understand exactly what the menstrual cycle is, and also to know how to manage their menstrual care. And I've been doing that for 10 years. My organization is 10 years old, and I just kind of did a big dive head on to start my organization while in the middle of my wardrobe styling career. I was a wardrobe stylist for about 6 years. And yeah, I worked from Atlanta to LA, in New York even, being an assistant to really big celebrity stylists, and also working for wardrobe stylists, and yeah, learning my way through the fashion industry from that aspect all the way up to working in TV, doing costuming. And one day I was leaving a gig and I saw this woman crossing the street, and she was houseless. And I was in my car driving, and I actually remember like stopping, being the first car in the lane, stopped at a red light. And I saw her crossing the street. This woman, she was crossing the street, and when she passed by, I could see that she had a big period stain on the back of her butt. And that was the seed that I needed to be planted into my mind. Because in that moment, I was thinking like, if you are homeless, if you are on the streets, if you are a female, if you are a woman and you have a period still, where do you go when you're on your cycle? Is this something that shelters provide this to you? Because even I knew that homeless folks are not welcome everywhere, especially in public. When they try to use the bathroom, and even in that moment of seeing this woman crossing the street, I'm in my car looking around like, does anybody else see this shit? Because it really made me upset because I can see, I felt her pain. I could see her period stain, but we all get period stains. Everybody with a period has messed up their panties before. And yeah, like I could see that weird LA shit. And even, I mean, it may be like a big city thing, but in LA it's a little different because the houseless situation in Los Angeles is so huge. A lot of people can be homeless. People are one paycheck away, or less than a paycheck away from couch surfing to living inside of their car. So it don't really always have a look, in my opinion. But the look that I'm talking about is more so the look upon other people who are not houseless, that are in their cars, walking and just, looking forward and not stopping to acknowledge this person, not looking at them, not making eye contact, just looking straight ahead, not giving them food, not giving them water, not giving them any money, whatever. And it's just, people just tend to just just kind of psych people out. So that whole situation in that moment made me so mad to the point where I decided to create a charity and to provide period products to folks, to provide educational resources to teens so teens understand what their body is going through when it comes to like puberty and menarche, and how to manage their life, having a period, because your life does change, like a full-on rites of passage. And yeah, and soon we'll be like creating a program and more engagement in the community surrounding menopause. Because I think from menarche to menopause, women, girls, women, non-binary folks, everybody with the period, all of us, all of us with periods, we are not encouraged by society to talk about our periods. And that's crazy. It's nuts. And we really should not be taking that shit no more. We really shouldn't. But we are. It's crazy. In 2025, there's still free water, soap, toilet paper in public restrooms, but no free pads, even though there's separate restrooms for, different genders. Just two genders, though. Not all the genders, but just two. But yet, there's no free pads. You would think, as hard as folks go in about this restroom thing, about making sure there's a boys' restroom and girls' restroom, women, men restrooms, they be trying to make it about trans people. You would think that as hard as they be going about making sure that there's different restrooms, you would think that, okay, so y'all care so much about the women's restroom, put some free pads and tampons in that bitch. But they don't, because they don't care that much. That's not what they care about. Ugh, so annoying. Anyway, and people be like, oh, it's socialism. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. Or just, human rights shits. Like, it's a matter of human rights, like, God forbid y'all don't have soap, People act up if they don't have toilet paper in the restroom to wipe their asses with. Okay? Anywho, so that's my background in philanthropy. So I am a period doula. So I provide non-medical care resources and support to folks with periods. Specifically, a lot of my work is centered on providing help to folks who have reproductive conditions or reproductive disorders like PCOS, fibroids, endometriosis, adenomyosis, dysmenorrhea, menorrhagia. There's so many different types of reproductive disorders and conditions, like issues that people have, and there's not a lot of space to talk about them, but I create spaces to talk about them. This is one of those spaces. I also provide, through my organization, we provide a safe space for parents to be able to like have the support to give their teen or their child the period talk. So in our workshops with teens, we partner with schools, community centers, and also with parents privately to host events, to essentially like, yeah, create like a pop-up to where we're giving kids the talk about puberty and periods and answering all of their questions, and also in a sense, in a sense, backing up the parents, because a lot of parents do not want to have that talk with their kid about periods and sex, and and a lot of parents are cool with giving that talk, but they still would like some type of like backup, because a lot of kids are like, yeah, I don't want to listen to what you're saying. I want to listen to somebody else. Either what, however it goes, I don't think it should always be on the parent to talk about this, or it's community. It takes a village, okay? So yeah, it's beautiful. It's been such a beautiful journey, you know. So periods, menstruation, the menstrual cycle, that's my shit. That's my jam. Okay. and and I love it. I truly do. I could tell you a little bit about how I was taught and what I know now, as far as menstruating or how it was treated in my home. Me personally, I had a safe space to talk about periods in my home growing up. It was still kind of treated like something to hide. It was okay to complain about it, and it was okay to to talk about it. I could talk about my period with my grandmamas, with my aunties, with my mama. But yeah, it was still something encouraged. I was definitely still kind of encouraged by society to hide it, like going outside, still kind of this thing of like, don't talk about your period in public or whatever, like growing up. And I used to always be like, why? You know, especially being a black girl. Black girls, we are often taught, and y'all give me a hallelujah or a hell no on this, but black girls, we're often taught to disconnect from our bodies, especially when it comes to our cycles. So, like, don't talk about it, don't show it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Like, in all aspects. Don't, hide the pad in your back pocket, have the tampon up your sleeve type shit. Yeah, we were definitely taught to just disconnect altogether rather than revere them. Um yeah, and then yeah, it was just really interesting like as a teenager, but I just never really like conformed to too much of that. Like I just always was like, it's part of my body. Like, obviously to me it was like obviously I'm a girl, I have periods, like I'm in pain, like, leave me alone. I'm gonna air my shit out. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna show it. Like I have a period stain. Like it happens. Damn. Yeah. But yeah, so that me just kind of being a bit of a nonconformist, even coming up in high school. Yeah, I embraced it for real, for real. Now my doula journey definitely helped shape or reshape the that narrative altogether. Yeah, it was just a way for me to like completely embrace it and to actually um make manifest what I had growing up, or at least in my household, where I had support. I had, you know, parents, grandparents, aunties, cousins, where we talked about periods and joked about periods and maybe even like picked at each other and made fun of each other's, periods, talked about smells, talked about period blood and colors and what to wear, what not to wear, how often to change pads and what kind of pads. And these pads make you smell worse. These pads are itchy. And, it's just like, I even remember my cousin bringing home a box of tampons and my aunt finding them. And she was like, why do these tampons have a fragrance like these? And they stink. And they did fucking stink. I remember that. I want to say like it was the first pack of like Tampax Radiance or Tampax something. And they had a fragrance on them, which is a big fucking no-no. No tampons, no pads, no aligners, no nothing. Nothing that goes inside of your vagina or near your vagina should have a fragrance on it. Nothing. That's bad. That's toxic. It can hurt you. It will hurt you. So yeah, I wanted to make manifest this support group, if you will. This support system that I had growing up. So that definitely reshaped it for me. And yeah, and being a doula, like, learning how to care for people. And I went all the way. Like I became a full spectrum doula. So yeah, I just wanted to understand how to support people in different stages of their life and different moments of their life, from periods and, fertility, pregnancy, birth, abortion and miscarriage, death. Yeah, it's it's definitely a beautiful experience, beautiful journey. And I honestly think I'm still in the beginning of my journey as a doula. But yeah, like talking about periods has always just been this natural, normal thing for me. And yeah, and I realized early on, like even starting my organization, that I was really good at it because to me, it was already this normalized thing. I just felt like, and not even to sound arrogant or be cocky about it. It's more so like I felt like the rest of the world needs to catch up with me and how I think about it, because I think it's nothing to hide, it's nothing to shame. Even if you are conservative or modest, I don't think anybody should feel shame for any type of natural process that their body is actually anything that their body is actually doing. That's just a natural process. I don't want you to feel shame for taking shits. I don't. But yeah, periods are just so disrespected, for sure. Yeah, because they're treated like an inconvenience. Even for people who don't have periods, they treat periods like they're inconvenience. And it's like, oof, baby. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because I believe there's spiritual power in blood, in menstrual blood specifically. And we can get into like a little bit of the taboo, and the spell spooky shit that people tend to be obsessed with when it comes to hoodoo or any type of spiritual work. Blood is a spiritual conduit, and it is used in rituals. It's used in numerous cultures, by the way, across the globe. Different cultures, I'm sure thousands, use blood in some type of way, some type of form, or like have something else to use as like to as a symbol of blood, to be symbolic of blood, to like yeah, because there's the real thing, and then of course in other ways there's something that you would drink or use as a symbol to as a reference, like it is blood, because blood is in protection. When we're talking about root work, spell work, spiritual power, any type of spiritual work, blood is in protection, it's in domination. binding work. And that's historically and ritually. Seriously. Menstrual blood, though, specifically, is for centuries, it's been used as a source of creative and spiritual power as far as energy. Blood connects us to the earth, our ancestors, and to each other. Hello. Hello. And let's be respectful here, because we're so far off from how things were done previously. Like, I'm aware that in numerous indigenous cultures, Native American cultures, Native American tribes specifically, but and many of them, I believe, still carry out this ritual, right? Their own rites of passage, and they go by different names within the nations. But yeah, like having these rites of passage ceremonies where young people get their period, they get their first period, and it's seen as a celebration. It's really beautiful, really powerful. And them having, a ceremony with a dance, with a chant, some type of prayer, or even like back in the day where they would have these huts, these red tents, or the huts where the specifically the women, the elders, whoever was like the shaman or the medicine woman or the root worker or the two spirit person, or two-headed person would go and have a space, and people who would have their period, and they would be able to just chill out in this space and not be bothered for X amount of days. And that was just seen as a space for them to rest, a space for them to essentially do nothing but rest and bleed back into the earth. And somebody else would deal with, being out in the field, doing the hunting, doing the parenting, the cooking, the cleaning. Somebody else would be doing that, because then, it's like this is their time. Because that, to them back then, and I think and we need to go back to this, honesty society, that was because they believed that the menstruating woman was powerful and therefore deserved and needed to rest, because when she was in her menstrual phase, she was connecting most to God and connecting most to her power, which I think is beautiful. And I think that's the truth. I think that's the right way. Because look at how we are all dealing with so much disruption with our bodies because we are not able to rest and just chill and relax when we're on our periods. We're forced to work, we're forced to go to school, we're forced to take care of people. And on top of that, we're forced to act like it does not hurt. We're also forced to just, be in pain. Like that's just normal. And that's not right, y'all. Y'all know that shit ain't right. Y'all know it ain't right. So it's really time for us to reclaim menstruation as a ritual. Have some type of spiritual practice around your cycle, Even think about like the way and how your cycle is in sync with nature to some point. Whether you're looking at like the cycles of the moon, whether you're looking at the different seasons and the phases of your cycle. I definitely look at mine as like the seasons, like for sure. Okay, so let me break it. Let me explain. Menstruation, the menstrual cycle has 4 phases. The entire menstrual cycle has 4 phases. So you got the follicular phase, you got ovulation, then menstruation, then the luteal phase. I treat them hoes like seasons. Let me explain. Stay with me now. Menstruation is like the winter time. You want to be inside. It's such a drastic change to outside, Lord. It's cold as fuck. You want to be inside, getting warmed up, getting your body together. Just relax, be relieved. Do what you can with your herbs, your teas, and warm up. Like, you're inside, you're recharging. Okay. Menstruation. That's your winter season. Okay. After menstruation, you got the follicular phase. That is your that's your spring, baby. Okay, so the hormones have kind of judged up a bit. We're coming back to some type of like balance. It's getting a little warmer. Okay, the flowers, they bloom. Them bitches blooming a little bit. Okay, because now we have a lot more energy. The energy is present. Okay, the sun is out. So, you're getting back to yourself. You're coming back to yourself slowly because that energy is coming back together. So we can go outside a bit. We not quite up there to where, it's really, bad bitch hot girl summer. That's ovulation. So let's move right on into ovulation. Hot girl summer. Okay, summertime, baby. Ovulation, you are ready. Okay, your energy is on 10. Okay, if somebody look at you, you might get them pregnant. Okay, let a nigga flirt with you while you on your ovulation phase, honey. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You are a lot more like aggressive. You are a lot more playful. You showing a lot more skin. Okay, bitch. It could be 75 degrees or 55 degrees. You ready to just tip a little toe out, show a little more neck, something. Okay. You ready to get snatched up. Okay. You ready to get snatched up like Mary and Sinners. Okay. She was like, you can't steal this pussy for one night, nigga. She ain't say nigga. That would have been wild. Ooh, that would have been wild as fuck if that was in the script. Anywho, that's ovulation. And then, you got that luteal phase. Luteal phase is like fall time. So it's like, okay, bitch, with the summertime over with, we bringing it right on down back to where the leaves is falling off a little bit. That peak that we was at. Okay, that huge ass climax. Okay, bitch, we peaked. Okay, chill the fuck out. Relax, because your body is processing and it's realizing like, all right, we was turned, but now we get back to our regular normal selves. And then you start that process. Your body starts that process all over again. Your body goes through 4 complete seasons each month. That's a lot. And they be trying to play in our face as if our bodies are not going through that every single month. That's a lot. So reclaim menstruation, please, as a ritual. Create more activities around your menstrual cycle, or just kind of plan a little bit more, like plan out, do some meal planning, meal prepping around like your period. Check out like certain herbs, what herbs are good for during your menstrual phase and which ones are good during your ovulation phase, like really honor that. There's seed cycling where people are consuming certain seeds around the different phases of their cycle to help them with their hormone balance. There's a lot more scientific evidence around that, because bitches want white validation. So if that really matters to you, you can look it up. But if that doesn't matter to you, like me, but whatever. But it is very much something that people have been doing for some time. But the internet just makes it like people just discovered the shit. But yeah. Journaling, prayers, like seriously, I talk about journaling my period all the time. So please journal your period as much as you can. Okay. Yeah, and just try not to I would say try not to suppress your period so much, and because so much is suppressed for us. There's not much encouragement. for us to talk about periods, have a period. So in your own home, in your own space, like, don't suppress yourself. Like, be as free as possible, and think about, like, if there's anything that you're doing, like, that's actually like low key, suppressing, like, are you subconsciously doing it and not even, like, realizing it? Like, think about what products or practices actually support you having a great period, a happy period. What products actually support you to make the experience with your period better? Like, for me, okay, for example, period panties. I love period panties. That's all I wear for my period. Period panties have changed the game for me. Now, I will say that since I don't have a fibroid issue anymore, my periods are much lighter than what they used to be. And yeah, I do like the act of just free bleeding. I've been wearing pads since I was 10. I'm tired. I'm not doing that no more. So once my homegirl, I met Mickey Agarwal and her twin sis, Rada. Once they changed the game with the period panties, oh bitch, I'm locked in to this day. Do you hear me? So yes, like that did it for me. Okay. And I would say just try it. For a lot of people, it's the menstrual cup or the menstrual disc. I know a lot of my environmentalist homegirls, they love a cup, bitch. They love a menstrual disc. So try it. Seriously. You never know. And everything doesn't work for everybody, but I really want Black women, I really want us to get ahead of it when it comes to our menstrual care, because right now we're behind, because there's still a lot of us we're just now getting on to period panties, menstrual cups, menstrual discs. There's even sponges, like, there we got options, y'all. Those options are also for us. Don't trip. Okay. And yeah, you just have to try it. I know, I get it. Like, some people got a heavy ass flow. Some people, painful cramps and clotting all the time. I get it. I get it. Just please understand this. If your period is irregular, if your period is painful, cycle things just feel so suppressed, please understand, you are not alone. You are not broken. You're not alone. Okay. Half of the human population has a period, sis. You're not alone. You're not broken. Half of us have a period. Half of the human population has a period. Don't trip. We all in this together. Okay, let that soak in. Okay. And I've said this before too. Doula work meets root work. Like, doula work is root work, essentially. And being a doula and having showing up for people, having to show up for people within the community, it's important to hold space for folks that deal with period shame, folks with reproductive trauma, and also to hold space for ancestral healing, like encouraging folks to connect with, like, ancestral practices, holistic medicine, and that could be like through herbalism, that could be through acupuncture, that could be through nutrition, dieting, not dieting just based on like weight, but just really like changing your lifestyle, to get to a better you, a healthier you, a you that's not, in a bad relationship, toxic relationship with their womb. Okay. And I do believe that period care is spiritual care. Let me explain. Your period tells you so much about your body. Your period is a vital sign. Your period will show up and give you information. And it will say more than, no, you're not pregnant. It could tell you more than that for sure. And yeah, it's important to have that relationship with your period and to really look at your period, look at your blood, look at yourself, sis. When you have your period, I hope y'all are looking at yourselves. I hope y'all are looking at your blood because it's gonna speak to you. Check out things when you're tracking your period. Do more than just track when your period's supposed to come. Look at your flow. What's the texture of your flow? Is your blood bright? Is it a yellowish kind of tint? Is it orange? Is it like really, really dark red? Is it almost black? Are you clotting? Are your clots consistent? Are your clots like bigger than a quarter or a nickel size? Can you pick up your clots? Is it dense? What did the clots feel like? Can you feel the clots when they're moving? Does it feel like you're giving birth to a jellyfish? What's happening? Is there a smell? Is there a foul odor? Does it smell kind of does it smell fishy? Does it smell almost like a mercury scent? Like what? Come on, y'all. Like you gotta really be able to have these conversations with yourself. And then I think it's also, we're talking about like spiritual work when it comes to your period. Listen, like you really have to think about even like your self-efficacy and your self-esteem when we're talking about like your period. Like, a lot of people just do not like their period, and it manifests into something where it's like they just do not like themselves, or they just do not want to do much for their period. Like if you are doing or not doing certain things when it comes to like your hygiene surrounding your period, it can be a sign of like, it's like either if not self-hate, self-sabotage, or you not having a just good review or positive outlook of yourself or of your body, you not liking your body, and it just will manifest into something else to where you're not bathing or your period, you're not showering or your period, you don't really care about the smell, you feel like you deserve to smell bad, or you feel like you should just sit in your blood, or seeing your blood is like it disgusts you, or and that's not the case for everybody. But I'm saying these things because in coming up and doing this doula work, this does come up a lot, where folks have admitted that them having like insecurity and personal issues and just certain trauma surrounding like their reproductive health, or even like trauma stemming from like their childhood, their period triggers that or reminds them of that, and they tend to care less about themselves when they're on their period. And that's real. So I want to be careful with that, and also hold space for that, and just give folks something to think about. And that's also a huge reason why I do the work that I do, working with teens, because we want them to come into this space where they have a period, and come into a safe space where there's no kicking away that stigma, removing any shame, blocking any shame, and, building up their self-esteem around their period, because it's already this scary thing. You telling them they're going to bleed until they're like 50. They're like, what? Oh my God, I'm going to bleed until I'm old and die. Like, you know how kids are. So yeah, it's just super important to, try to think positive, be real with yourself, and provide those tools, provide the education. So, we're building up their self-esteem, we're empowering them, and also, helping them build up their own self-efficacy. Yeah. So I encourage anybody out there, like especially parents, if you have, a teenager, doesn't end gender. No, like teach the boys about periods, child. Like I'm so tired of y'all being so confused with this gender situation, sex versus gender. Teach boys, teach kids Everybody needs to know about a menstrual cycle. My God, because when folks that don't know about the menstrual cycle, don't know about the female body, they become assholes who try to tell folks with periods, with fibroids, with adenomyosis, with endometriosis that their health does not matter as much, and tries to tell them that they should just do what the opposite sex or other genders tell them what to do, who have never had a period, never had a uterus, and never will have a uterus. Telling people when to have babies, when that they can't have abortion, forcing people to have birth or go through pregnancies, all while still not providing postpartum care for free, health care for free, can't even get a free pad or a free tampon in public spaces. Like, it's so backwards. Taking away birth control, Lord, trying to take away birth control, not even knowing what gender affirming care is. Like, I can go on. I'm about to wrap this up. About to wrap up this episode because, baby, I'll turn up. So yes, please talk to your kids about periods. Please educate yourself about the menstrual cycle. Like, I'm still learning, and I love it. I love to learn. I do. If you've ever hated your cycle, this is your invitation to see it differently. I'll say that again. If you ever hated your cycle, if you ever felt shame around your cycle, this is your invitation to see it differently. This is your invitation to manage it differently. Your blood is not shameful. It is sacred. It's yours. It's your body. It's your teacher. It can be. You are not a curse. And I know that's something that we have been taught, especially like folks who are indoctrinated, or especially folks who grew up in the church. You know, any type of talk around our periods, it was, always centered on like Eve and her sin, and it's why y'all have periods, and it just, no, we're not about to carry that on. No, not beyond 2025. We not doing that. Like, you are not a curse. You are not a curse. Get that out of your brain right now. Okay, you are allowed to rest. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to learn your body and keep learning it. You are allowed to honor your body as an altar. So do me a favor. For your next period or your next few periods, try to rest a little more. Do your best to rest a bit more. Okay? Sit down a little longer, lay down a little longer, take a little extra time for you. Also, try to form a new habit for your period or surrounding your period, whether that's to take some raspberry leaf tea, a few days leading up to your period and then during your period, and see how that feels, how that helps. Okay? If you're into like black cohosh or or if you do love raspberry leaf tea, whichever herbs or teas that you like, but try to drink and eat a bit lighter leading up to your period, or cutting out something that you might usually eat that is not that great for you. If there's like something that you eat that has a lot of sugar, or something that you eat that has a lot of dairy, try cutting that out like a week before your period is expected to come, and then replace that with something a bit more healthier, or even if it's like a tea or herb, or to supplement that. Like, just try it. Listen, your body deserves it. Your body deserves rest. Your body deserves nourishment, and you do too. So try that. Or even if you are into other like holistic measures, if you're into like essential oils, like, that's cool. If you have uh what's it called, heat packs or cool packs that you have for your stomach, for your cramps or your back, yeah, like really dive in and stick to your remedies, especially if you haven't tried it, or maybe some things are not working for you anymore. Maybe that Midol doesn't work for you no more, or ibuprofen. If you're like me, you might be allergic to that, or it just, makes you nauseous. Just tap in and try something else. Really see what works for you. And when you find what works for you, just stick to it. Try not using tampons this next cycle. And if you do use tampons, find some organic cotton tampons. No fragrances, no parabens, no toxins. Same thing for your pads. Organic pads. No toxins, no fragrances, no plastic. None of that should be on your pads or tampons. So try using a different period product. There's plenty. I've had a couple, more than a couple, plenty of folks I know actually who either went vegan, were taking herbs, stopped drinking, stopped smoking, and still were experiencing cramps. And I'm like, what kind of products you use for your period? Oh, I use these tampons. Oop, throw those out. Not good for you. If they're not organic, that's not good. Okay. Let your body flush out. Give your body a break. Give your vagina a break. Okay. Let it all like flush out. Try a period panty your next period, your next cycle. Try a period panty. Try switching to organic pads, liners, all organic. Try a menstrual cup. Try a menstrual disc. Just try to switch it up and figure out what works for you. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, you're allowed to rest. You're allowed to honor your body. You're allowed to learn your body. Okay. And please, like, reach out via email, hit me up on Substack, slide in my DMs, and let me know your thoughts. Like, if you try something, if it worked, if it didn't work, if you have any questions. Child, like, y'all been talking to me about y'all coochies for the last 10 years, so it's not gonna stop no time soon. Okay? Because I really, again, like, I truly want to be responsible for Black girls and Black women having better experiences with their menstrual cycles. I truly do, especially when it comes to their periods. The work that I'm doing is focused on advancing menstrual care for Black girls. My family did that for me by way of creating a safe space and having, no stigma in the house. And that is what I am putting out there in the world. That's what I shall continue to make manifest for you. You've been listening to the practice of a Hoodoo Baptist. This is my altar, my process, my truth, where I honor those who came before me and speak what was once kept in silence. Covered by spirit, guided by blood. Until next time, bye.